Hi my sweet pen friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Devin, and for today's video I thought I would go ahead... Max, what's happening? As I was saying, I wanted to go ahead and share an updated fountain pen collection video with you guys. It's been over a year since my last one, and if you want to check that video out, I have it linked off in the description box below. That way you can see where I started to where my collection is now. I'm sure most of you would agree with me when I say this. When you get into the fountain pen hobby and you start falling down that rabbit hole, it's really hard to stop. It's really hard to stop wanting more fountain pens. And in our defense, there is just an abundance of fountain pens that we happen to lay our eyes on, and it takes our breath away. So with that said, I do want to say that I feel like I've done a, how do I want to put this? I feel like I've done a decent job of like not accumulating too many fountain pens at once. I don't know. I don't want to get overwhelmed, and I don't want to fall too fast, but I mean, like I said earlier, with all the beautiful pens that are out there, it's really hard not to. All that to say, even a little bit more than a year later, I feel like I still have a very novice, beginner level collection. So I store my fountain pens in these gallon leather or gallon leather pen cases. If you'd like to see how I store my pens, both fountain pens and my regular gel pens and such, then I'll leave a link to that video in the description box below. I'll also be sure to link as many of the pens and of course these cases in the description box below so you guys can check them out. Let's go ahead and start with this pen case. So this is the Crazy Horse navy blue, and I believe this color leather was limited edition, but I'll go ahead and link the style of case in the description box below so you can see what other colors they have. I knew pretty early on that I wanted to get a case like this because it was nice and compact, and because it has 10 slots to hold 10 pens. In my mind, I was hoping, thinking, wishing that I would stop collecting at 10 fountain pens. Well, as you guys saw, I have 2 of these, so that clearly didn't work out the way that I thought it would, but you know, I can't really blame myself for trying. So going from left to right, the first pen that's in here is actually not a fountain pen, so I won't go into too much detail about it, but it's a Mont Blanc rollerball that my dad kindly gifted to me, and because it's such a luxurious pen, I want to keep it nice and safe, so it stays in this pen case with all of my other fountain pens. Next to it, I have my Sailor... Oh gosh. Okay, I just looked it up because, you know, I should know what this pen is. It is a Sailor Pro Gear, and I was gonna say that, but then there was a part of me that was like, it's not a Pro Gear Slim, so is it just a Pro Gear? Anyways, it is my first and only gold nib fountain pen, so it of course has a special place in my collection. I believe the nib size on here is a medium fine, and I mean, just looking at the body of it, it really is a gorgeous looking pen. It has a white translucent body with these reddish pink speckles of glitter, and I think it's just very well done. It still looks like a very classy pen with that little bit of sparkle in it. So I don't use that pen as much as I probably should because it has the gold nib. I feel a little apprehensive and weary. I do make sure that I only use it when I have some fountain pen friendly paper in front of me. Next up is my Pilot Lucina. This was a pen that was kindly gifted to me by my pen friend Daniel. So Daniel, if you're watching this, thank you so much. It's definitely one of my favorite fountain pens. I love how short it is in comparison to some of my other fountain pens. It's not quite as short as a Kaweco Sport, where it's really like a pocket pen. I feel like it's a nice step down from something a bit longer like my TWSBI Eco, which I'll talk about in a second. But the Pilot Lucina that I have is in this gorgeous sunshine mustardy yellow, and this has a fine nib on it. In general, I tend to gravitate towards fine point pens, so you'll see that's no exception in my fountain pen collection. Also, I'm not a rapper, but that was a dope rhyme. That was pretty hot fire flames. I just have this inked up with the cartridge that it came with, so it's a standard black ink cartridge. Same for my Sailor, I have it inked up with the black ink cartridge that it came with. I sort of already teased this next fountain pen, but it is my TWSBI Eco in pastel pink. I did have the pastel blue initially, but it didn't strike me the way that I thought it would, so I ended up returning it. And I bring it up now because there is a part of me, I think it's the collector's part of me, that wishes I had just held on to it, but that's another story. The TWSBI Eco for me is just a gorgeous piston filling fountain pen. I love that it has that clear demonstrator body as well as the colored accents both for the cap and the end of the piston. Funny story, you may have heard me talk about this on my channel before, but initially when I got into fountain pens, the TWSBI Eco was not even a consideration. I saw it and it looked way too complicated. The piston filling aspect really overwhelmed me, like just the idea of it, and I also didn't really care for clear demonstrator fountain pens. I didn't think that they looked all that great. Well, what do you know? It's one of my favorite fountain pens. Just like that aspect of it, I really appreciate and enjoy it now. So whenever I see this pen, it really shows me that you can't knock it until you try it. For this TWSBI Eco, I have it with an extra fine nib, and it's currently inked up with one of my favorite fountain pen inks. It's the Troublemaker's Milky Ocean. So that is actually the last fountain pen that I have that's currently inked. The rest of these fountain pens are just sitting nice and pretty in the case waiting for their turn to be inked up. And I personally don't keep a lot of fountain pens inked up at once. One, because I tend to get overwhelmed pretty easily. Two, I like to finish the ink that's in the pen before I clean it out and replace it. That's just a weird little thing that I've got going on. So for those reasons, I don't have any of my other fountain pens inked up at the moment. Okay, so I'm looking at my pen case and I feel like I need to maybe regroup on how I'm doing this video. So I'm gonna open up my other pen case. This is the Forest Green. A little insight to my organization right now. I keep this Crazy Horse blue pen case at my desk because it holds some fountain pens that are currently inked. And I will get to these other pens in a second, but these are pens that I want to have at the top of mind when I'm inking up new pens. The pens that I keep here in my Forest Green case, these are just pens that are sort of secondary in that rotation of being next in line to ink. But for the purposes of staying organized in this video, I swear there's a method to the madness of my organization. But for the purposes of this video, let's go ahead and jump into this case. I have some more TWSBI Ecos to share with you. I think that'll be better to kind of keep all of the same fountain pens in the same categories. So I have a TWSBI Eco in white. I believe this is one of their standard colors, and I absolutely love it. I think this one is also an extra fine. It's either an extra fine or a fine nib on here. And this was, I want to say it was my first TWSBI Eco, but now I can't remember. I think maybe it was the pastel pink. In any case, all of the lovely things that I shared with you about the pastel pink apply to the white Eco as well. Just, it's such a classy looking pen. And then when you put some rose gold accents on it, it's just, oof, it's so good. So I do have the white and rose gold Eco as well. I believe the white and rose gold Eco is also an extra fine nib, and this was kindly gifted to me by my pen friend Daniel as well. So Daniel, thank you again. He really knows my taste in fountain pens. The last Eco that I want to share with you is this translucent orange one. I haven't inked this up yet. This TWSBI Eco has a special place in my heart. It was gifted to me by Jet Pens. I won one of their Monday giveaways, and this was part of the prize pack, so that was really exciting for me. It's not a color that I would have picked for myself, but when it came in the mail and I was able to hold it in my hands, I knew that it was meant to be. I think that I want to ink this up with something orangey and yellow. I do want to maybe do the matchy pen, matchy ink combo in here. I'm not quite sure what is gonna go in here yet, but if you have suggestions, let me know in the comments section below. So that was my last Eco, but my TWSBI collection does not stop there. I do have one more pen. It's the 580 ALR in purple. This has a broad nib. It's the only broad nib that I have in my fountain pen collection currently. Initially, when this pen first came out, I was on the fence about it. I thought it was a good looking pen. I do really like purple when it's done in sort of this muted or pastel fashion. But there was some hesitation, I think maybe because I didn't have any prior experience with the 580s. I really only knew the Ecos from the TWSBI line. But because I saw it on the Goulet Pens bottom shelf page, I was just scrolling there one day and I saw that they had this discounted. I decided that I would just give it a shot. I will say that it's not a pen that I use very often. Want to give it another shot to see if I do like it. I have very mixed feelings, or at this point I guess it's very neutral. I don't know if I like it, I don't know if I don't like it, but overall TWSBI makes really gorgeous looking pens. You can't deny that that is one good looking fountain pen. I do believe that's it for my TWSBI collection. Moving on, I have some Kaweco Sports to share with you. The first one is this Kaweco Skyline Sport in white. I have not inked this up yet. I have it in a medium nib size, which is me trying to go outside my comfort zone. Not by a whole lot, obviously, but it's just to give myself a little variation here and there. I do have a couple of other Kaweco Sports that I have used, so I can tell you that I really like it. It's just a cute little pocket pen, very lightweight. Also from the Skyline collection, I have one in mint. This does not fit in either of my cases, so I'm in a bit of a predicament there. And I haven't quite decided whether or not I'm gonna let go of one of the pens in here, or I honestly, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but I have used this and I know that it will be here to stay. I really like the mint color. I like the way that the Kaweco writes. This is in a fine nib. Yes, it's in a fine nib, and I had it inked up with Midnight Blue from Kaweco. I also really like that combination, that it had the pastel body and then it was filled with something dark and rich like that. The other two Kawecos that I have are stored in my green case. This one is from the Frosted collection, the Frosted Sport collection, I believe. And in that collection, they have all of their fruit-inspired colors. This one, I believe, is in Blush Pitaya, and it is with a medium nib as well. So, you know, I try when I'm feeling up to it to not use fine or extra fine. The Frosted Sport Collection has a somewhat translucent body in comparison to the Skyline Collection where the barrel is completely opaque. And then the last Kaweco that I have is my All Sport Rose Gold. This is a beautiful pen. I mean, it's rose gold, and that totally speaks to me. This pen was kindly gifted to me by my sister. If you're watching this, thank you so much. It's obviously one of my favorite pens. This fountain pen has an extra fine nib, and I will say after experiencing the fine and medium nibs from the Kaweco line, I feel like the extra fine nib is a little bit restricting, a little bit of scratchiness, but it's still a very nice pen. I have a Pilot Metropolitan with the gold zigzag design across the middle of the barrel. The Pilot Metropolitan is really known within the community for being an affordable yet very high quality fountain pen, and I could not agree more. It's a very classy, sleek looking pen. It does have some weight to it, and I think that sort of adds to the luxurious feel that you might get from it. This is in a medium nib. I have not inked this up yet, but I did have a Pilot Metropolitan in black with a fine nib, and I really enjoyed that, so I feel like I can confidently say that I'll enjoy the gold zigzag one as well. These next two pens were gifted to me by my pen friend Daniel. This one is from Pen BBS, and I believe it's in the style Purple Cloud. This has a fine nib. Yes, it has a fine nib. It has sort of a marbled swirl effect, making it look very dreamy, and the body is slightly translucent. I can definitely see the nib through the cap and the converter as well. This pen sort of has that same marbling effect, but instead it's with white and tones of gray and silver. I believe it has an extra fine nib. I haven't inked this one up yet, but I have inked up the Pen BBS, and I really like how that one writes. I have my Conklin Duraflex, and this is in the color turquoise, I believe. This has a beautiful flex nib. It's my first and only flex pen. Oddly enough, I feel like when I used this flex pen, it helped me with my hand lettering, and I noticed that there was an improvement with my handling of brush pens. I don't know for sure if the two are related, but I noticed that there was a connection there. Next up, I have my Lamy Lux in Rose Gold. This has an extra fine nib. I like to pair it with the Noodler's Black Swan in Australian Roses. Again, that very nice contrast where it's still in the same color family or close enough. This is my Miniso Clear Demonstrator Fountain Pen. I bought this when we were in the Philippines, and it's become one of my favorite knockaround pens. Again, that clear demonstrator aspect. This is very clearly a copycat of the Chula Vista. I did do a comparison video on that, so if you want to see it, I'll have it linked off in the description box below. I don't mean to offend anyone or get into the politics of purchasing copycat pens. I just want to say that this is an affordable option and it's a really good, reliable writer. These next two fountain pens are the Moonman M2 Clear Demonstrator Eyedropper pens. This purple one was gifted to me by my pen friend Daniel. This one has a fine, I think they both have fine nibs, and because I loved this one so much, I had to pick up the one with the metallic rose gold pink grip. This is a really great option if you want as large an ink capacity as possible. It's very nice to clean because you just flush out the entire body and then of course flush out the nib. What beautiful pens, and I look at these and I think, what was I thinking when I did not want to use clear demonstrator pens? Obviously, I wasn't thinking. This next pen is also a clear demonstrator fountain pen. It's the Platinum Preppy. This pen was kindly gifted to me by my pen friend Daniel. So Daniel, thank you so much. You've obviously influenced a lot of my fountain pen collection and what I come to enjoy about the hobby now, so thank you for that. This has an extra fine nib, I believe, and the Platinum Preppy is just an awesome option if you're looking for something affordable and is going to be a great fountain pen writing experience. I feel like this comes up a lot in conversation within the fountain pen community as just a really good beginner fountain pen. This pen can also be an eyedropper pen. I believe you just need to get the silicone grease and an O-ring, and you can fashion it into an eyedropper pen to get maximum ink capacity. So for such a low price, I feel like it comes with an immense value. Whew, that's it, guys. That's it for my fountain pen collection. Again, it's probably not as robust as some of our other amazing fountain pen enthusiasts in the community, but it's one that I'm proud of, it's one that I enjoy, and it's one that I'm really happy to share with you guys today. I would love to hear from you a little bit about your fountain pen collection. Let me know about it in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and feel free to share it with a pen friend who you think might also enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe and to turn on those notifications, that way you don't miss any of my videos. Just a quick reminder that I've switched to a new upload schedule for the month of July, so I'll be uploading every Wednesday at 8 a.m. PST. Please take care until then. Feel free to watch these two videos linked here on the screen. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.